Here's your memory guy here. Today I want to talk about how to master chemical elements, and what I did and how I use the same methods now to teach the learners to master chemical elements, especially in high school. The intention is that you're able to master only up to 20 the first elements, that is hydrogen up to calcium. So that's like easy, but most people use other methods. For example, I work with some students who they learn how to sing, or you make some. So in memory skill, like singing is also like one way of improving your memory, because your memory always doesn't like when everything is just like like on white and black, and so your memory likes some creation, like some creativity. You create something that makes you remember everything that you're learning. So that's why I'm here, and I want to show you how I did that with the student. So first of all, I will just name them randomly, name them from hydrogen to calcium, and then later show you how what methods I use as a memory specialist to work on that. So first of all, we have then hydrogen. After hydrogen, you have helium, you have lithium, then you have beryllium. After that, you have boron, then you have carbon, you have nitrogen, you have oxygen, you have fluorine, then you have neon. Those are the first 10. After that one, you go then to sodium, magnesium, aluminium. After that, you go to silicon, phosphorus, sulfur. After sulfur, then you have chlorine, you have argon, and then argon you have then potassium, and then you have calcium. So those are the 20 first 20 chemical elements that you have to master. Normally what I do is that, because I also play with numbers, so the idea is always that can we also know the atomic number, mass, can we know also the ionic numbers, So that's what we talk about. In the next video, I'm going to talk about how to master then the valencies of compounds like carbonate, sulfate, and so. So this is what I also do, so that to help students master, and then to also help them also to do balance the equations and write the right chemical equation, and also balance it. So when we set out for this kind of learning, people who never liked chemistry always end up liking chemistry and loving chemistry, because you can master everything and it's so easy and all without all this tip. Another tip is that so long as I use I have already used the methods that I'm here to show you now. The next thing is that remains. So for example, what I did is something called substitution. The first thing you do is you substitute the things you don't know to sounds that you know. So the first thing I said, hydrogen. So what could hydrogen then tell me, or what sounds like hydrogen? But I remember that hydrogen could also remind me of dragon. And then I said, okay, so I know the picture of dragon, because normally your memory is more happier if you feed it something that you know and that is already familiar. So I said hydrogen will be then dragon, and then helium will be heli, and then lithium will be limo. So if you know the long car, limo. And then after that, for that we go to beryllium, which was brains. And then after that we go to boron, okay, which is then broom. And then then we go to carbon, which becomes then bones. And then we have to go to nitrogen, which became knights. If you know the knights, those are like the soldiers in the Roman, the Roman square. And then oxygen, we made oxygen to be an ox. If you know an ox, like a castrated bull. And then fluorine, we took a flower. And then we took neon to be a nun, like a Catholic nun. So I know most nuns, so I try to link that one. So what happened then is the next step. That's the first 10. I want to show you how we did it. And then for us then, after substituting this, now the next thing you want to do is to link the two. So for example, imagine if you've ever watched this big, like really fancy movie where you have like a dragon coming and hitting, or big a dragon flying and hitting on a helicopter. So that one is like linking. Now you want to link the two. You want to link heli and dragon, because now heli stands for helium and dragon stands for hydrogen. And after that you go to then helicopter and limo. So you can imagine a very big limo going and then taking off, because it's going very fast. It goes so fast that it starts, going up, and the propeller comes out, and then limo flies like. So you kind of like mix the two. And then after that, limo and so then we have limo and then that is lithium and beryllium. So how do we do that? And remember that beryllium, I took brain. Sometimes I took berries. Then I can imagine then lima food, like a very dark limo with like so many red ripe berries inside, and that way I now have that one stuck. So if I ask you now, do you remember what happened? What is then the first one? Is hydrogen, and hydrogen will remind you of the dragon hitting a helicopter. So then there we have then lithium, heli, and then after that that limo is now taking off as a heli. So that one reminds you like now you have lithium and helicopter, and after that you have now limo full with berries, and then you can see now think about beryllium, and after that then you think about broom. So you have a pile of berries, so many, and then you look for a broom to sweep it. So then you have sweeping of berries with the broom. So that one keep reminding you like that. And after that we want to now link then broom and the carbon and bones. Carbon was bones. So imagine that you have this you have the broom that is made of bones. So the stick of the broom is a bone, maybe from an animal or from maybe someone. So you use that method. And then after that, then you can imagine, then we go to nitrogen. Now imagine then the night, those soldiers, instead of having a gun, they're having like a bone of someone. That one reminds you, if you have a bone, you think about knights having bones. And then nitrogen and oxygen. So remember, an oxygen was like an ox, and nitrogen's a knight. So you can imagine, instead of an ox or those knights, riding on a horse, they are now riding on an ox. So you link it to the end. After finishing the linking, the thing is that this is going to stick so much, and then it's a game, and this game, the more you play it, the more everything sticks. And then normally I have a rule of 5, so visit it 5 times and then it sticks. So after doing that now, this is the tip. So the deal is that also later when you are meeting other chemical elements, and maybe they are reacting, so you want to use the same initial, so the substitute that you use. Okay, so for example, I think if you go to chemistry, sometimes they bring about copper and zinc also coming in. So then zinc for me is always a zinc, and zinc is always a zinc, and copper is always caps. Caps that someone put. So if I say, for example, zinc and copper sulfate, so I can imagine like copper 2 sulfate, so zinc and copper 2. So I can imagine like 2 caps inside a zinc. So that one reminds you of that. Reminds me of how to master that. So that's all I have for you for today. If you like what you're hearing, please do not hesitate to subscribe to our channel so that you support us. And if you are in a school setup where you would like us to join your school and teach you the memory skills, then also do not hesitate to call us. Thank you so much and have a nice time. Bye bye.